No. I want to ask this, though, because what if we have learned now that the election of Donald Trump exposed a flaw in our system? And the flaw is this. If you allow the head of the Justice Department to be a political appointee the way it's done, sort of the personal preference of the president, yes, there's Senate confirmation. Do you think we should create a hybrid model so that it's more like the FBI, more like the Federal Reserve, where maybe the Attorney General has 5-year terms, and you figure out how to create a brighter line between a blatant political appointee of a cabinet agency and maybe create a new, because it does seem as if fairly or unfairly, the Justice Department has been undermined in the eyes of people on the left and the right for the last decade.
Well, I'm someone who is skeptical of the ability to create rules. And essentially here, what I think, Chuck, you're saying is, should we create some rules so that bad people, and I have to say I put Bill Barr in that category, bad people who want to politicize the work of the department can't misbehave. And the bottom line is, I don't think you can do that. And I think that we all have to recognize that people of character who act in good faith are essential to our government. You can't put people in like Bill Barr who want to create an autocratic president and let them use the powers of that office and go ahead and do that. If you put people there, they're going to misbehave. There's no way that they cannot have a lot of discretion. So I am not particularly in favor of coming up with a bunch of sort of jerry-built modifications. I don't really think that, some of those agencies you mentioned, the FBI, I mean, the director of the FBI can be removed anytime the president wants to, even though he has a term. So the problem is in the hearts and intentions of the people in power. And we just have a rotten group of people in power now is the sad state of affairs. So I think what you need is an attorney general to come in and reaffirm the norms and the rules and the way of doing business. It probably maybe even could be improved on a little, but if we just go back to doing what we did before, we're going to be 90% of the way to what we need to be doing.
All right. Hello, YouTubers. If you're watching this, it means you've checked out our channel, so thank you. Now do me a favor, subscribe by clicking on that button down there. Click on any of the videos to watch the latest interviews and highlights from MTP Daily and MSNBC. You can get more Meet the Press content every morning in the First Read newsletter. If you're tired of content that you don't know anything about where it came from, you don't have to have that problem with us. NBC News, MSNBC, MTP, and the Meet the Press mindset right here for you on YouTube. Subscribe now.